guys, it's Carissa and this is the beauty scenario tag. Question 1 is you have to get rid of all of your foundation and you can only keep one high-end and one drugstore. Which do you keep? This is pretty easy for me. High-end, I would keep the Makeup Forever HD foundation, and for drugstore, my new drugstore favorite is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1. Question 2. You go for an interview and the lady interviewing you has lipstick on her teeth. Do you approach the subject or ignore it completely? I was just checking to see if I had lipstick on my teeth. You know, it depends on the situation, and I think when you are being interviewed, sometimes that person, I don't know. It depends on how well I'm getting along with them. It depends on if I feel like it's going to make things uncomfortable or make her only remember a negative part of my interview, like being embarrassed. If she seems like the kind of person who can handle it and I can even joke about it a little bit or something, then maybe. But I don't know. It's always awkward, isn't it? With a stranger, at least. 3. You're not feeling yourself and you need a pick-me-up. Which lipstick do you put on to make yourself feel beautiful? This one was kind of tough because a lot of the time, if I don't feel good about the way my face looks, I have to do something kind of bold. And I thought, that's a strange, I don't know, my first instinct is the one I picked, but it's Candy Yum Yum by MAC, which is, it's hot pink. And it's a matte hot pink, and it's like not fooling around. But it actually makes, it's not as crazy once I put it on my face as I think it's going to be. Almost every time I put it on, I kind of stare at it for a second first, like, am I really about to do this? But it's beautiful. And if I try to wear red lipstick, when I'm already feeling kind of bad about myself, it makes me feel worse. It makes me feel like, even if it's a blue-toned red that's supposed to make your teeth look whiter, my teeth look yellow to me, and the red is like too obnoxious, and I'm like, who do you think you are? And then I have to wipe it off, and I just feel crappy about myself. So, but this, for some reason, this just always gives me a little boost. 4. You go back in time to your teenage years. How would you do your hair and makeup differently? I definitely think that I would have embraced my natural curls more when I was younger. I straightened my hair pretty much every day, to the point where people who knew me for years didn't know my hair was naturally curly until, you know, like it would rain out and I would unfortunately have like the frizz and the curls would start to take over. Because I used to use Thermasilk shampoo and conditioner. I don't know if you remember it, but I was in mourning when it went off the market because it did something magically, just something about the way the chemical compounds of that were. It just made it so that I could easily straighten my hair and it would stay straight. There's nothing like that these days that I can try and put on my hair that, you know, if I get a little bit sweaty, my hair will start to curl at the roots. Right now what I do is I tend to style my hair more when the weather and humidity allow for it. And in the summertime, I just let it be free. I just let it be curly. But back then, I would still straighten it, even when it was hot out. As far as makeup goes, that's really hard to say because trends and techniques are constantly changing. And I think that I don't want to be too hard on myself. I wore very little makeup for a long time. The only thing I ever wore through most of high school was mascara, and it worked for me. So. 5. You ask your hairdresser for a shoulder-length pixie lot haircut, and they hear you wrong and give you a pixie cut. That's kind of a nightmare, isn't it? Do you A, smile, say thank you, and leave, and call your mom hysterical? B, cry in the chair and let things get awkward? Or C, complain to the manager and demand a refund? I really don't know what I would do. I feel like this is impossible because in my life I've been blessed to find someone who is really great with my hair, and even if things were to go a little bit wrong in terms of the style that I was trying to do, I feel like it would still look good because she's very well trained, and I'd still be able to work with it. And I'm constantly, my whole life, I'm chopping my hair off and growing it back out, and chopping my hair off and growing it back out. So at some point, I probably would chop it quite a bit anyway. Maybe not, I've never actually done an actual pixie cut before, but if things got to that point, there's nothing I could do. I don't think I would complain. I don't know. I feel like I just roll with it, you know? I say that now. It's probably really easy to say that, but if it actually happened, who knows? 6. Your friend surprises you with a 4-day city break and you have 1 hour to pack. Which do-it-all palette do you pack in your makeup bag? I feel like this is such a canned answer, and I feel like it doesn't even seem very creative on my part to pick this, but there's a reason why this is my first choice. It's the Lorac Pro palette. Mine's dirty, but it's really a do-all. I mean, with the exception of the fact that there's no bright colors in here, but you can do such a full range. You've got matte and shimmer, and you can do a smoky eye, or you can do a really soft day look with this. And it's super thin. I mean, it travels well, you know, it's perfect. 7, your house has been robbed. Don't worry, everyone is safe. Thanks, Tag, for letting me know. But your beauty stash has been raided. What's the product you really hope is safe? I think that the first thing my brain went to are the irreplaceable products. And most of what I have, if it isn't replaceable, it's something that I might not necessarily repurchase. With the exception of these 2 things, I guess they're both considered beauty, even though one of them is definitely more so. So I got married almost 9 years ago, and I had saved items that were from that time period. So before my wedding, this is my first big beauty purchase. My first high-end beauty purchase was I got the Chanel Vita Lumiere foundation, and I picked up the Dreams Quad, which the shadow was so like creamy and soft that it would flake really easily. So what I have left in it is just what's around the edges here, but it was a really soft lavender color with a couple of neutrals and a black. And the other thing, even though this isn't really beauty, you know, it kind of is the fragrance that I was wearing back then. In the months prior to my wedding, and at my showers, and at the wedding itself, and on my honeymoon, I was wearing So In Love by Victoria's Secret, and I would buy the really big bottles. I still have my original one, like the second one that I bought, I think. I went through it pretty quickly. And it's empty upstairs in like a keepsake box. And a few years ago I got nostalgic. This obviously isn't available anymore, but I went on eBay and I found one of the tiny bottles, and that's what this is. I don't even really wear it, but what's beautiful about it is I can smell it, and it just takes me, it's like a time machine. It just takes me right back to that time, and I just remember, you know, how happy I was and how wonderful things were and blah, blah, blah. And 8, your friend borrows your makeup and returns it in awful condition. Do you A, just pretend you haven't noticed, B, ask them to repurchase it, or C, secretly do the same thing to theirs? Well, your makeup is very general in my opinion. I don't know if that means all of it or, you know, just one item, but like say if somebody borrowed an eyeshadow palette from me and returned it and it was just unusable and it was destroyed, I would like to think that I'm not friends with anyone who would kind of be like, well, sorry, here you go. Most people that I know in my life and that I choose to be friends with would absolutely replace it or do something, you know, do whatever they could to make up for it. Even though I wouldn't really expect them to, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think I'd go to their house and like wreck their makeup. Sometimes things happen. Like what if their dog chewed it? If it's still usable and it just looks bad, I don't care if the packaging is ruined. You know, obviously some of this stuff is really dirty, and that doesn't bother me too terribly. So much for watching, guys. I tag you if you want to do this video, and I will talk to you soon.